It is now time for the Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good morning, all you wonderful Money Masters and treasure hunters out there. It is Marvelous Monday. Hope you're off to a great start of your day. I know I am. I absolutely love being here with you. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge. And, folks, you can watch us live on TigerTV. Just go to the homepage at TFNN.com. Click on the button right up there at the top or off to the right. You can go ahead and you can bookmark this link on your iPad, your iPhone, your Google device. And then one click of the button and you can watch all of our shows streaming to you live. Hopefully you had a great weekend out there. Quick look at the markets. You've got the Dow futures up about 75 points or so. ES Mini, that's the S&P futures contract, folks. That's up about 8.5. NASDAQ up strong, up 15, a little over 15 points. The Russell up 7 points as well. Quick tour around the world. You got the DAX trading up 50 points, FTSE up 58. In Asia, they were up all last night. Well, they had the Nikkei up 52 points. The Shanghai was flat, just up a quarter, 0.28. And the Hang Seng up 103 points. 877-927-6648. Give us a call, folks. And if we, just take a look at the weekend. Hopefully you had a great weekend out there. And obviously, so much talk about Whitney Houston. So I'm just going to spend just a minute on this because actually there's a lot to be learned, even from what we don't know. But what we do know is this, folks. And that is when I take a look, I talk about, in fact, we're going to throw up over my shoulder here in a minute or two, my favorite spot. And I talk to you about the importance of being able to put yourself into a peak state, especially when you are making decisions. But you should always be able to put yourself into a peak state. I can focus on this one spot over my shoulder, if you will. What it does is it puts me with a sense of strength. And whenever you're making a decision, I don't care whether it's out of fear or greed, that you're looking at, it's really important to be able to put yourself in a peak state. And oftentimes, if you've attended any of the workshops that I've put together, I'll pose questions because questions control your focus. But what's so important, and certainly in the case of Whitney Houston and others, questions control your focus. You see, it doesn't really matter how much you have or what you don't have. In fact, what I find is so interesting is that when I ask people, do you have any goals that maybe you haven't achieved? Whether it's in business, whether it's in life or what have you, and everybody can raise their hand high and say, yeah, of course. And then when I ask the question, why is it that you didn't achieve your goals? Whether it's the money game that you're playing, maybe it's in business, maybe it's just simply trying to grow a business, maybe it's some relationship, something going on in your family life, maybe it's your health, wealth, whatever. Why didn't you achieve those goals? And oftentimes, well, not oftentimes, the majority of the times when I ask somebody why you didn't achieve a goal, this is non-relationship, let's say a business thing, and the number one reason that people will give is money. And so in the case of Whitney Houston, okay, and then the second thing people will say is if it's not money, it'll be time. So it's money, it's time, and they'll get a whole list, a slew of things that people will rifle off, education. And what those things are, folks, those are just resources. And yet what you can find is people that have the most resources on the planet oftentimes can be the unhappiest. Now, that's not always true. But look at the folks that have not all of the resources. Look at folks that have tremendous resources, yet when you take a look at their life, they're unhappy. Why is it? Folks, happiness is just simply about who you become. And when you're not happy about who you become, what you do is you look for ways to be able to change your state. I like to be able to show you a positive way to change your state. Find a place of strength that you can go to, because that's all that either eating or taking drugs or physical exercise or playing in the stock markets, all these things are state changes. And what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to find state changes that are going to give you a positive impact. Again, you can take a look at folks that have so much. Yet in reality, they really have so little. And yet you can also find folks that have so little. And what really happens is they have so much in life. And I hope that's you, folks. I want that to be you out there. And if it's not, want to be able to help change that. The easiest place to start with is make sure that you start with a positive state, folks. Because, you see, the bottom line is there are no unresourceful people. You see, if you want something in life, you can get it. If you say what's stopping you is money, you can find ways either to save money or you can find ways to earn money. Money is not stopping you from getting your goals. You can say you don't have time. Well, we know that's not the case. You actually probably sleep. You could cut out some time in sleeping. You could cut out some time doing things that aren't supporting what it is that you want to achieve in life, who it is that you want to become. So all those things it's just a matter of becoming more resourceful. And so, the thought for today is that there's no unresourceful people, folks. There's only unresourceful states. That's what created the problem for Whitney Houston. That's what creates problems for folks out there. And I want to just make sure that you always come from a resourceful state, folks. So let's go take a look at the resourceful states of the economy, if you will. And the economy, I just simply mean the money game. You've got got the whipsaw effect still going on around here. I do have the ES Mini. That's the S&P futures up on my screen here right now. And if we take a look at the S&P futures, this is the 30-minute contract. And right here where my cursor is, this is December the 12th. So this is going back to December the 12th. Yeah, this is going back to last night when the futures opened up. Just took me a while to remember what day we were at here. So you can see futures, they gapped up last night. If we just simply come back over here, in fact, let me just turn some of these lines off because I can always redraw this stuff here. What we can see here is from the futures standpoint, coming into Friday, how the futures traveled lower. When we take a look at what were they doing, well, the futures were just simply coming back against this breakout area here from February 7th, but where the real breakout was, the real sign of strength that we were taking a look at was February 3rd. And at 9 o'clock, what you can see here, as I move this over, you can see this long-range bar. If we take a look at all of the bars that are out here on the chart, what you're going to see, you don't have to necessarily look at the volumes or anything, just take because price and a long-range bar, both on the upside here where you're starting up, you're opening up here, during the 9 o'clock session, you were opening up at a low of 13.23 when you finished out, or the high got up to 13.36. So a pretty nice move when you take a look at that bar versus any other bars in here. It is no wonder that when the markets came down, and we were taking a look at this on the show, on the Money Masters show last Friday. This show, the Trader's Edge show, David and I took a look at it, I believe, during Tom's first half-hour segment, if you will. And so it's no wonder that this area here, I could just simply draw a line across, but you can see my cursor going across there, how that acted as resistance. So always when you're taking a look at charts, doesn't matter whether it's intraday, in this case here, a 30-minute chart, whether it's an hourly chart, whether it's a daily chart, always look for, long-range bars, if you will. Now, so it pulls down to that area. That area happens to hold. And really on Friday, and you take a look at it, the markets had the opportunity to truly bust things down. And that didn't happen. We finished off of the session lows. And, we'll take a look at the ETF indexes. We'll take a look at some of the volume out there. When we do open up Sunday, you can see it opens up at the 1347 area. You're trading out at 1349. So relatively sideways, if you will, still up about 8.5 points or so. And what did it do in the early morning hours? Well, if we take a look at this at 4 a.m., you can see what is occurring here is a move of a move. Coming back to the highs, that little spike high at 9 o'clock in the morning on February 9th. It got up to 1352.75. And where we got up to in the 4 o'clock in the morning hour, you got up to 1348.50. Now, let's go take a look at the futures contracts inside the rest of the market. And let's take a look at the NASDAQ futures, because the NASDAQ futures here are really the strength inside the marketplace. Is this what I wanted to look at? Yeah. And so let's take a look at February 9th. So we're going back now to Thursday. February 9th, the NASDAQ futures make a high of 25.65. You're trading out right now at 25.64. But during this last session, this is the daily chart that I've got up on my screen here now. And so during this session so far today, you've gotten up above that area. You've gotten up to 25.69.50. Now, if we take a look at, let's come back here. I'm going to erase some of the stuff on the futures contracts. And what I'm going to do is, one of the first things I do is just simply take measurements of swing points, the expansions or the contractions between swing points. So I'm going to come over, grab my tool here, this Fibonacci retracement expansion tool. I'm going to come over to the July highs, July of 2011. That's the 25th. You had a high of 24.34.50. You had 24.34.50 on the 26th as well, so it doesn't really matter which one you anchor to. I'm going to come all the way down to the lows that were made in August 9th. Now, what you will see up here is 25.61.50 happens to be the 1.272 expansion of that. And you're trading right now at 25.64. So what you have here is you've got a 1.272 Gartley pattern coming from from all the way back here in July, the highs that were made in July. If we go ahead and we draw that pattern in here, what I've got to do is just find the tool so we can color that in. Where is that tool? Everything we go, okay. And so we'll come to those highs all the way down to the low. We'll go ahead and we'll draw it all the way up here. And what you're going to see is you're going to see this 1.272 expansion, this NASDAQ expansion. Now, what we also have out here is so I'm going to go ahead and erase that. So, you guys see that's in there. Now what I'm also going to do, and I've shown this as well in the past, is come down here to the October 27th. We know October 27th is important. What we have, that was a 1.272 butterfly. What you also have going on right about here, just a little bit higher, you've got a 1.618 expansion. Now, this is important because you've got a 1.618 expansion off of October 27th, 2.618 expansion off of this swing point here from December 2nd. So you've got, going back to multiple swing points here, you've got butterfly expansions all over the world. The question is, are the wings going to get clipped, or is this butterfly going to take off, folks? 877-927-6648. Give us a call, folks. We'll be right back.
X-Story Gold Mines, an NYSE Amex-listed company trading under the symbol XG, is slated to be the newest gold-silver producer in Argentina. X-Story is forecast to produce more than $250 million in bullion annually, beginning in 2013, at a cash cost of less than $200 for each ounce of gold produced. That forecast will make X-Story one of the highest margin operators in South America and a sector leader in the mining industry. X-Story has $50 million in its treasury, having spent over $60 million to date on drilling and engineering. The ultimate size of its Argentina discovery could be determined by year-end, as results from the 6 drills operating at the site are fully assessed. To find out more about X-Story Gold Mines and their exciting growth potential, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE Amex under the symbol XG.
TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of investment newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing breakout gains. Go to TFNN.com today, click Investment Newsletters, and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of The Money Masters with Tom O'Brien, seen daily at TFNN.com, author of Mastering Probabilities, a daily investment and trading newsletter, and teacher of The Money Game. Studies show that 3 out of 5 people are afraid for their life in trading these markets, and the number one reason given is fear of loss. Look, fear stands for false evidence appearing real, and the money game proves it. Lesson number 1, don't risk more than 1% of your trading capital on any trade. Why, you ask? Because 35 trades in a row where you risk 50 cents and make $1 are all you need to double your trading capital, versus the 230 losing trades in a row you would need to bring your balance to $100. Let me teach you more about the money game risk-free for 30 days. Go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, for your 30-day risk-free trial. You were born to be a money master, and I'll teach you how.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pezzavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
Here's Here's what people are saying about Tiger TV.
Let's go to John in Tampa. Hey, John, what's going on?
Hi, Tom. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. You having a good day out there?
A wonderful day. I love your Tiger TV. I watch it every day. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, man, I appreciate you out there watching it. How long have you been watching the Tiger TV?
I'm watching almost a month now, and it's wonderful.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's cool. You see the charts and everything. Thanks so much for the hard work.
Tiger TV, a great news service from TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. 877-927-6648. Future's still up, Dow up about 74 points. And, folks, our Go Long America tour, is going to be beginning next week. That's where Tom and I are going to be visiting. We're coming out to Denver, Spokane, San Francisco, Boston. Go to the homepage at TFNN.com. What you'll see is next Tuesday, February 21st, and that's going to be a day where I think there's going to be some action in the marketplace. We're going to first stop out in Denver. We're going to be at the Marriott Tech Center from 6:30 to 9:30. Please go over to the homepage at TFNN.com and RSVP for your spot. And then the following day, on Wednesday, the 22nd, we will be in Spokane at the Doubletree Hilton, Spokane City Center, San Francisco. The following day, on Thursday, the 23rd, we're going to be at the Intercontinental San Francisco. And on the March 3rd, we'll be in Boston. That's on a Saturday. We're going to do that show from 9 to 12. We absolutely would love to see you there. So please go to the homepage at TFNN.com and sign up for that. And stay tuned. Mondays are great days around here because following this show, you've got the Money Masters. Then we've got Basil Chapman in the On-Deck Circle. And then Larry Pesavento from 12 to 1. David White will be here as the warm-up band for the Tom O'Brien Show. And so, folks, stay tuned. A lot of great programming today. Now, what I've got up on my screen here is the euro. We all know it's all about King Dollar. And so in order to understand what's going on with King Dollar, we got to tick in on Queen Euro, if you will. And you can see that the euro is hanging right out at the 0.382 retracement. That's going all the way back here to the October 27th high, all the way down to the lows that were put in on the euro here on January 13th. You can see, it made its way up to the 0.382, traded down just slightly. As far as any type of retracements, there has been no significant retracement on the euro. Once it made its way up into that 0.382 area, hasn't even been able to make a 0.382 retracement on the way down. That says, until that 0.382 area is broken, that there is some strength that is out there, and we're seeing that, if you will, in the marketplace. Now, in order for our markets to move higher, we're going to see the euro have to move outside of this area here, where it's building energy to go one direction or the other. We're just going to have to wait and see what it does. But should the euro decide to move up to the 0.618 area, that would be nothing unusual. That would be normal. That would be like coming to visit us here at TFN. You would absolutely come over to Suite 618, and that is a beautiful thing. So that's what's going on with the euro. Let's take a look at some of the other currencies out there. Let's go take a look at the pound. And the pound here, we'll put that up on the screen. Now, what you can see here with the pound, and it's why I want you to be able to understand these expansion and contraction, these sacred geometry numbers. What you'll see with the pound is coming off of the swing point here from December 21st. So the high there on the pound, you got up to 150, 1.5773, all the way down to the low that the pound made on January 13th, got down to 1.5233. If you took the difference between those 2 points, multiplied it times 1.272, added it to the bottom right here, this would take you right up into this area. Now, what you can see is you had, a 0.707, so which is also a sacred geometry number. We look at 786 and 618, and if you're right in that range, folks, then and you've got a 1.272, it would be normal for folks to start taking profits here, because what happens with these expansion and these contraction numbers is they help to measure fear and greed. They just simply do. Mathematically, it works out. It's where people start to take profits. They start to get scared. And, remember, when you're measuring fear and greed, you're selling, somebody else is buying. So, what's great is to understand when you get to these points how it is that when you're running your business, how you maybe start collecting your receivables, how you decide to let the market run from here. Well, or maybe you're looking for some candle signals if you're trading these markets. And if we do take a look at the pound, what you'll see here on the pound is on the 7th, it closed at 1.5892. Now, when it opened up in the following session, where it opened up a little bit higher, right on the button, 1.5892. So it opened equally as where it closed. If we take a look at the session on February 7th on the pound, that opened at 1.5817, where we closed on the following day after that. You actually closed at 1.5815. That, folks, that is a bearish engulfing candle. What does the pound do? The pound, backed off a bit, going into a Friday session. Right now, trading a little bit higher. If we go ahead and just simply remove these numbers and take a look at coming off the bottom, the retracement off the bottom here on the pound, what you're going to see is a retracement from the low to the high that was made 4 trading sessions ago. The 0.382 area would take the pound down to 1.566 area, 1.568, somewhere right in that range, trading out, and so it needs a bunch more work to the downside. So, and it's important to understand, because you want to understand what is the underlying instrument behind the king dollar, if you will. Just like if you're trading ETF, you want to understand what the top 10 holdings are if you're trading the XLF or the XLE. 877-927-6648. We get back, we'll go see how these markets are going to pop. We'll be right back, folks.
In the world of financial markets, there's a new player in town with an exciting new way to trade the markets. Nadex now offers binary options as well as bull spreads in a wide range of indices, along with commodity and forex markets. With as little as $100, you can gain access to a new way to trade global financial markets while guaranteeing that your risk will always be capped. Nadex allows you to multiply your trading opportunities in ways never imagined before and access markets you once thought were out of reach. With short-term trading opportunities available, including binary options expiring each hour the market is open, Nadex allows you to take advantage of a variety of market conditions regardless of volatility or market direction. Now is the time to take advantage of this exciting new market. Don't let this trading opportunity pass you by. Open your account today by clicking on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Nadex, a better way to trade.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. If you want to get great trade setups in equity as well as the option market, come over to TFNN.com and test drive my daily newsletter, Market Insights, for 2 weeks absolutely free. Each trade setup comes with a profit projection as well as stop placement. Included in Market Insights is a Twitter alert service. This allows you to take advantage of intraday setups. Volatility is back in the markets. What does that mean to you? To me, it spells short-term opportunity each and every day. The days of trending up on lighter volume are gone. We have come off the highs with volume across the globe. Don't get caught in a complacency trap. Many of the indices have given back 2 months of trading in 1 week. We have a trader's market. You can take advantage of this trader's market by test driving my daily newsletter, Market Insights, free for 2 weeks. Market Insights will give you the edge you're looking for in the markets. Go to TFNN.com under newsletter. Hit the Market Insight tab for your 2-week free test drive right here, right now.
TFNN has an exciting announcement. As part of our Go Long America contest, Tom O'Brien and Steve Rhodes will be hosting 4 live in-person workshops that are absolutely free to attend. Denver on February 21st, Spokane on February 22nd, San Francisco on February 23rd, all from 6:30 till 9:30 in the evening, followed up by Boston on Saturday morning, March 3rd. Steve Rhodes will show you how to understand the power of 1% and how to master probability, along with avoiding getting stopped out of trades early, while Tom O'Brien will speak about the intense trading power of Tiger Gartley and butterfly patterns. All of these workshops are completely free to attend. Come see Tom O'Brien and Steve Rhodes live at one of these free workshops as part of the Go Long America Tour. For more information and to reserve your seat today, visit the front page of TFNN.com and click on the Go Long America Tour banner.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Smith Barney. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportion of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney believes that a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Smith Barney financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Certified Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC. Member SIPC.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
To the races. You got the Dow up 70 points, the S&P up 8.6, composite up 22, small caps up 9, leading the charge on the way up 1.13%. But, of course, leading the charge on the way up, it's the NBA. They're playing basketball. Nothing but Apple, if you will. Apple trading up $9 now, up at 502.40. And you talk about insanity, or they call it Lin-sanity, for Jeremy Lin over at the New York Knicks. So all of you folks listening in New York, you guys must be having a great time. You got some insanity, if you will, with regard to Apple. We'll take a look at that in the marketplace, or anything else you'd like. You can give us a call, 877-927-6648. And what I've got up on my screen here right now is simply the S&P Cash, the SPX daily chart. And what I want to show you, what's really important to notice here, because we're not insane. We don't get too euphoric. We just kind of keep things even keel, if you will. What you can see is you've got the S&P 500 trading inside this ascending wedge pattern. And where I'm going with this, folks, is I'm going back to the highs from December 5th, just taking a look at the swing point out there, and just running a trend line up against the highs out here that came in place on January 26th. And you can see that this red line across the top, how the S&P has contained itself within that to the upside. On the bottom side, I've just simply come off of where we've come from November 25th, from the lows that were put in that day. That was the day after Thanksgiving, and just simply run a similar trend line up here, really just catching the bottom coming into the January 30th. This is really a guideline, if you will, but you can see it's inside this ascending wedge pattern. And, folks, the outcome of this is typically to the downside. Now, you get your first taste of it on Friday. Right now, all it's doing is it's moving its way back up as we continue to chug higher. What's it chugging higher to try to do? Well, if we come all the way over here, it's really trying to get into the swing point from from May the 2nd, and the low there is 1358.59. So it's not going to take a whole lot of action. Let me draw the line going across in order to get to the bottom of that swing point. But it still has to, it's trading right now at 1350. So, it wants to get in there and touch that, just like we've seen inside the Dow. Does it have enough stretch in its arm and its muscle to get up there? But right now, that's the wedge pattern in essence that you are trading inside. Let's go take a quick look at Apple here. See what Apple is doing as it's making new highs. And where will Apple stop? Nobody knows. I don't even know how to put a pattern on this. This is why Apple is, it would be great to be able to put a pattern on this stock. What do you do again today? You gap up again. So look at these gaps. Pretty impressive. Let me just get rid of the lines out here. So as Apple came off of, let's see here, we're going to just come back, right to the December time frame. So we're just going to come back to December 19th. December 19th, Apple gaps up from December 19th to the session on December 20th. So just really the following day. Here's another gap that I can easily see out here. This is going back to December 30th to when you come back on January 3rd. Well, that makes sense. Now you have another gap that does get filled. That's on January 13th to the 17th. Apple comes back and tests that swing point Now, you did 8 million shares on January 13th. As you came back, you did 14 million shares. So it's coming down there with volume. Doesn't matter with Apple. Rejected it. And gap up. You have a nice large gap going from January 24th to the 25th. Look at the size of that gap. When you closed on the 24th, you closed out at 425. So that's certainly when earnings came out. And you opened up at you closed at 425. Thank you. And where do you open? You open at 454. That's a big gap, 25 points. You got another gap here from last week, February the 8th, and you also have a gap this morning. Unbelievable. Unbelievable run. And just simply, if I go ahead and pull off the monthly chart on this, again, no real patterns that, that I can identify out here. Really whatsoever. You know what? I want to pull up this stock right here because when I was opening up the show, I was really talking about resources and being resourceful and how people that have, sometimes the folks that have so little are the ones that really want to be able to fight for it, and I just want to be able to maybe relate this to a story, and let's talk about the stock market since that's, one of the things that we do here at this show. And so if you go back, and I was trying to pull up my chart during one of the breaks, and it doesn't go back to 1974. Maybe Tom will do it, or maybe somebody that then can do it. But one of the stories that I do recall was a Walmart. So back in the 70s, I don't know if you remember this or not, but back in the 70s, the market was writing Walmart off. At that stage, Walmart had these superstores, and the stores that were being reported. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the chart as long as I'm talking here. And the symbol on that, folks, is WMT. And what the folks were talking about was back in the 70s, let me put this on a monthly too, back in the 70s that in Walmart's case, that there was no way for them to be able to expand anymore, because they'd already had, 60 stores, 60 or 80 stores. The reason I know this is my dad, when he was alive, he used to be in the calculator cash register business. And one of the accounts that he was calling on were stores like Walmart. In the Midwest, there was another chain that was up there. In fact, I remember driving my dad around. He let me drive the car. I wasn't even 16 yet, and I got my first auto accident before I actually got my driver's license. How's that for a trip? And but anyways, that's really not what I was talking about as far as the story is concerned. But I did have some familiarity with the big box stores that were being opened up, and the talk was that that Walmart, the stock wasn't going, there was no way for the company to grow, but yet Sam Walton, okay, there's a tenacious person, he had a big vision, and it's important to have big visions, and it's also important to be resourceful. Well, you take a look at what the stock was selling for here in the 1990s, and it couldn't have been much more than this back in the 70s, if you will, $5 a share. Now, even though it's been in this sideways trading range, as we take a look at going back from 1999, if you will, to today, you're talking about going from $5, and you're talking about going, I don't know, how many billions? I'd have to look up the financials. I'm not going to go do that here real quickly, but, they were talking in the mind, in the news media, if you will, if you were going to buy into the Walmart store, that it was done with, it's over. And nothing could be further from the truth. And the reality, just like I was saying, folks, there's no unresourceful. There are no unresourceful people, only unresourceful states of mind. Well, I'm telling you that, he did not buy into it. I don't want you to ever buy into it. I always want you to be able to find a resourceful state of mind. So, if you're, no matter what level you're at, if you're, if you are successful as can be and you're looking for another level or what have you, that's great. And if you're not, you're being kicked or you feel like you're being kicked, don't take it anymore, if you will. And just simply don't just change your state. Change your state. Start taking action. What kind of action, folks? That's right, massive action. Let's go take a look at the ETF structures here in the markets. We're going to go ahead and pull up the 5-minute charts, just see if we've got any volume that has shown up as we've gapped up. Now we're already 12 minutes into trading, so I've got the 30-minute chart. Let's go to the Dow. Let me put this down on the 5-minute charts here, just so that we can take a look at. You gap up here. Let's go ahead and expand this screen, and let's go ahead and wipe out this stuff just so we have a clean chart to take a look at, see what the Dow is doing, the diamonds, if you will, is doing. And the diamonds you can see right here, the swing point that it's over. Really, we're taking a look at 10:40 in the morning on February the 9th. had 101,000 shares. And if you take a look at what you did this morning, you gapped up over that with 159,000 shares. You know, trading slightly lower here, but you can see volume on this retracement on the way down. And again, this is just a 5-minute chart. Nothing significant there. Let's go take a look at the SPYs, see how the SPYs are doing. This is a 30-minute chart again. Let's go ahead and reduce this down just simply to the 5-minute chart, just to give us some type of area to take a look at. We take a look at the SPYs. SPYs have come all the way up into the gap down. Now, on the gap down, the close of Thursday's session, that's really what this swing point is at here. This is coming into February the 9th. What you had there was 4 million shares. When you gapped up this morning, you gapped up with 4.3 million shares. Okay, so it's got the juice, if you will, to try to go take on these highs. If we go take a look at the highs in these SPYs on a 5-minute chart, it gets you up to February 9th. That swing point had 2.4 million shares. You didn't get quietly. How about that? How about that for creating a new word? You didn't quite get up to the low of that swing point, which is at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's on February 9th. The low there is 135.47. What you got up to was an area of 135.45. 135.45, what did I say? 135.47. So it didn't get up there, but it does have the juice to at least go tackle that. Let's go take a look at the Qs. Well, Qs have got to be up. If you've got Apple up $8.75. So let's take a look at the Qs here. We'll blow that up. We'll go ahead and change this over to a 5-minute chart as well. Let's go ahead and let's erase everything on here. Now the Qs coming just simply into the gap. Right here on the same thing. So we're looking at going into the close here on that gap, which was 1.4 million shares. What we did, what the Qs did, when I say we, I'm really talking the market. Now the Qs this morning only gapped up with, well, the same volume, 1.4 million shares, if you will. The Qs look to me like, what do they want to do here? Let's just put up and see if we've got any sacred geometry going on. Nothing here of significance. And that's a 5-minute chart as well. Let's pull this back to a 30-minute chart. So let's see what the Qs are trying to do here. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. And so on the 30-minute chart here, the Qs in this gap here, that's going into the close, 4.2 million shares. And what you've done so far is 3.1 million shares, and you've only got 15 minutes. So you've got some volume, if you will. We'll see if it wants to close up inside here. If you can close up inside here. Now, you know, the other swing points, in essence, that it's taking on here at 11 o'clock, you've got 5.9 million shares. You're still going to have enough volume to stay with inside this swing point. Let's go take a look at the small caps. Let's see what the small caps are doing out here. That's the IWM, folks. We take a look at the IWM. Let's go ahead and pull this back on a 5-minute chart as well. And on the 5-minute chart, let's get rid of the data that's on here. Almost looks like the Qs, doesn't it? So it came up and it tested this gap down from Thursday to Friday. Again, going back to that 4 o'clock session. You do 1.4 million shares at that swing point at that gap. And what do you do in the first? You do 1.4 million shares as well. Wow, that's pretty wild. I thought that's what the Qs had. Just want to make sure I don't have, yep, how about that? So that's what the, let's take a look around there. Let's go take a look in the spiders, if you will. So let's go take a look at the financials. And then we can take a look at some of the stocks that are popping. I see Priceline is up $20, trading out at $5.65. You've got Region Iran Pharmacy. We can take a look at that. That is up 10%. That's up $10. Intercontinental Lax. That's down a couple of bucks. On the way down, nothing really major or significant. You've got LinkedIn trading down just a bit. So let's take a look at the financials, though. Let's go take a look at the XLF, see what we're doing out here. The XLF, having completed a Tiger Gartley, if you will, it completed that pattern right in the 1380-ish range. You can see you got up into, or 1480, I apologize, in the 1480 range. You did get up there on February 9th. You got up to $14.86. That was the high. You did it on 77 million shares. And what's interesting, what's important to take a look at the financials here, just as well as some of the other ETFs that we can go take a look at when we take a look at the daily chart. What you will see here is the gap up from February 2nd to the 3rd. And when we take a look at moving to the downside last week, First, the low of that gap on February 3rd is 14.57, where the financials actually closed at on Friday was 14.56. And still was not, the volume, if you take a look at the volume on the gap up on the financials, 86 million shares. And on the way down, only 64 million shares, and so you still have not been able to close that gap. Why is that important? Well, because the financials have been relatively weak, if you will, right? That has been one of the weak dogs, one of the weak sectors inside although it's behaved very well, coming off of the lows here in December, also coming off of the lows in November, from November 25th, if you will. But still overall, if you take a look at the picture, take a look at how far it's retraced to, you can see the financials, the XLF was up in the price range of $37 going back to the 07 highs, and you're trading at $14 right now. So the financials really struggling, but what the financials are telling you is even though you've got this Tiger Gartley here, until you can break this area, until you can break this little island that it is forming out here, and there's a lot of people continuing to join the party on the financials, I say just be careful, if you will. What you want to see is you want to see a clear break of this 1.272 expansion of the 618 retracement of this Tiger Gartley pattern. Why? Because if you can break that, if you break a 0.618 Tiger Gartley, or any kind of Gartley, what you will do is you will move to the 0.786 level. So if 1481 is the 0.618, where is the 0.786? I'm glad that you asked me that. Well, that's going to be in that 1587 range. So maybe it doesn't seem like a lot, 1480 to 1580 a buck. That's less than, that's probably around 7% or so. But it's a lot more than that if you were going to play the triples. 877-927-6648. You got the Dow up 56, S&P's up 7. We'll be right back, folks.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective and maximize your returns. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor, Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Would you like to discover the next great tech stock? David White, TFNN's technology guru, has just launched his new newsletter, The Technology Insider. In his newsletter, David will be looking for those shining stars that may turn into the next Apple, Microsoft, or Cisco. David combines his technology background as a software programmer with his market skills as a successful professional trader to give you this unique newsletter. We're on the verge of the next great tech run. With the Technology Insider, you'll be in front of the run-up and not lagging behind. David is developing a long-term investment portfolio. Therefore, we're only offering the Technology Insider as an annual subscription with a remarkable price of only $395. That's right, for a little over $1 a day, you'll receive the fundamental technology wisdom and technical trading skills of the Technology Insider David White. What are you waiting for? Go to the front of TFNN.com, click on the link on the front page, sign up for your 2-week free trial, and become a Technology Insider today.
Put the power of the Chapman Wave methodology to work for you. No matter what market you trade, what time frame you trade in, or your trading style, the opening call, Basil Chapman's daily market newsletter, is bursting with the information and trades you need to become a more successful trader.
I've been using Basil Chapman's Chapman Wave methodology for several years now. His Chapman Wave can be used for any time period for not only equities, but futures, currencies, commodities. I've been also a subscriber of his opening call, which I find an invaluable tool to help me analyze the potential of the market each day. He gives you opportunities to go short and long. It includes recommendations on stocks. I strongly recommend people using the Chapman Wave, and in very, very strongly support the use of his opening call.
To find out more about Basil Chapman and his Chapman Wave methodology, and to get your 2-week free trial of the opening call, a $64 value, visit tfnn.com today.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we pay you more for converting your jewelry to cash.
Let's go to Brian in New Jersey. Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, I just want to let you know I did give you some jewelry. My jeweler offered me about $650. But you get a check in the mail tomorrow for about $1,200.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, it's all about honesty when converting your jewelry to cash.
Okay, let's go to Paul in Florida first. Hey, Paul, what's going on?
I want to commend you on the Tiger Metal Exchange. I just did a deal with you guys the other day.
Oh, good.
I'm very happy.
Well, I appreciate it. Now, did you sell us jewelry or did you buy coins off us?
Yeah, I sold you jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What we weighted at was less than you guys said, so, you're totally honest.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we give you the tools to value your gold, and it's absolutely free. Call 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. We've created the easiest, safest, and most honest cash for gold process. Tiger Metal Exchange. It's the only call you need to make.
Catch Tom O'Brien and Steve Rhodes as they teach you the art of mastering money when it comes to trading and investing. The Money Masters, next on TFNN.
Welcome back, folks. 877-927-6648. Don't forget, stay tuned, because following this show, Tom and I doing the Money Masters. Then you've got Basil Chapman and Larry Pesavento. I was going to say Larry White. Larry Pesavento from 12 to 1, and David White from 3 to 4, and then the Tom O'Brien Show from 4 to 6. Let's take a look at Priceline out here. You got Priceline trading up $19 right now, and what Priceline is doing is it's taking on its highs, the swing point from May the 2nd. Boy, that's not a surprise, is it? So the swing point on May 2nd on Priceline, it got up to 561.88. You're trading out at 564.96 right now. You did 1.2 million shares at that swing point. What have you done today so far? You have done 313,000. That is in a 25-minute session. If we just simply dive down and take a look at the 5-minute chart, you will see that there is some volume that is coming into Priceline. And the first volume spike really, from the open, you gap up. The second volume spike came in at 940. And as I just simply come over to my system and take a look at Priceline to see if there's anything going on, absolutely nothing that I see that was reported. And so it'll be interesting to watch where does Priceline close. Let's go ahead and take a look at this on a weekly chart as well. See if we see anything. This has been a nice little rocket ship, if you will. And if we just simply take a look at coming off the bottom, let's just take a look at the kind of ABC that this thing made here. The A point going back to, let's take a look here. The A point was coming back into the October of 08 time frame. B point on this, somewhere right around April 30th when it made a high out here of 273.93. You can see as it backed off, did not do much of a retracement. In fact, let's go measure that retracement again. We're looking at the weekly chart here. And the weekly chart, it shows that it just backed off to a 0.382. Now, the reason that I really, just kind of bring this up and just so we can take a look at charts, it's really great because you can learn so much from chart and chart pattern. First, you're going to see all the accumulation, if you will, that was going on inside Walmart on my mind, Priceline, you name it, in Priceline. Now, in this case here, just simply from this low here, this is where I'm drawing my first A to B equals C to D. When you only back off to a 0.382 retracement, that rubber band has been wound up real tight, and a 0.382 retracement says that you are going to move higher. Now, what else, from watching this show here, do you know that, how would you know that, this is the weekly chart, that this was going to do more than a 1-to-1 A to B equals C to D? Yep, that's right. You take a look at the leg inside the C to D. Actually, more important than that leg in the A to B, if you will, because in this case here, you can see it was explosive, if you will, coming off of the low that was put in June of 2010. When I say explosive, when you take a look at the angle of the C to D leg, you can see how price was moving up well to the left, if you will, and that says that you were going to do more than a 1-to-1. What does Priceline do? Priceline does a 1 to 1.618. You know, if you've got the art of timing the trade, folks, you know when you do a 1 to 1.618, A to B equals C to D, maybe you're going to do something different. So Priceline gets up there. That was in the 544 area. And then what does Priceline do? Priceline backs up a bit, consolidates here, moves sideways. It's been moving sideways, if you will, since March of 2011, and it is moving sideways, and right now it is trying to break out, if you will. So it's trying to break out, get above 561.88. From a volume standpoint, if you take a look at that price on a weekly, only 9 million shares out there. So, we'll keep an eye on Priceline. Maybe we'll come back to it tomorrow. Maybe if I don't remember, somebody in the den can just throw me a little bone, if you will. Folks, there are no unresourceful people out there, only unresourceful states, but that's not you. Teach somebody else that as well. Stay tuned. Tom and I will be up next. If not, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Take care, folks.